I heard a quote the other day that went something like, "Isn't it weird how the past is just a story that we keep telling ourselves?" And that really is all the past is. We keep giving past versions of ourselves all our attention and our energy through the stories that we tell ourselves and through the stories that we tell others. And when we do this, that's why life stays the same. That's why we don't change. That's why nothing changes for us. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leeor Alexandra. Welcome to the B community. On this channel, we talk about the law of attraction, spirituality, self-development, and so much more. And today I want to talk about the way that we speak to ourselves. I did a little poll and I asked you guys what you would prefer that I do next. In this one, don't worry, I'm also going to do the 5 movies or shows that reveal the Matrix. That's coming. But today I want to talk about how we've been programmed to speak a specific way to ourselves internally and also about ourselves to other people our entire life. And this way of speaking, this language that we use, is really a form of control. Because if we're taught to only speak about ourselves in a certain way, we create our reality, the building blocks of what we perceive outside of ourselves through that language. And then we create these self-limiting boxes and beliefs that we can't walk outside of because we see ourselves only in this one way. And language does that. Language is very limiting. Words are also spells. The words we choose to use, this is all creating our reality moment by moment, because everything that we say, everything that we read, everything that we hear impresses something upon the subconscious mind, which then projects it into our outer reality. That is why it's so important that right now, today, we're going to start this process of undoing the programming that we've been subjected to and rewiring the way that our brain thinks and the way that we talk to ourselves. Speaking beautifully and having beautiful thoughts is going to affect your life and it's going to change it. And the universe is just going to rearrange to become more beautiful for you. I did this in my own life years ago and I see the benefits of it every day, and the benefits are exponential. They don't just become stagnant at some point. They keep going up. Life keeps getting more beautiful and more expanded because I'm utilizing language and words in a specific way as spells to create a more fulfilling and beautiful life. I now put my faith in my present self, in my future self, rather than having it all in my past self. Before we get into today's video, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators to learn new skills, to deepen existing passions, and to explore new ones. As many of you know, I've taken many classes on Skillshare. I do it all the time. I tweeted about it the other day. I take classes on audio engineering, interior design, investing, business, real estate, and even meditating. Skillshare is crucial to my work, not only as a creator, but also as a business person. It teaches me how to optimize my business online, and I'm constantly learning new things that I can apply to my work. So I just recently took a class that I really love and that really genuinely helped me, and I want to recommend it to everybody. It's by YouTuber and author Thomas Frank, and it's called Productivity for Creatives. Build a system that brings out your best. I'm channeling and writing this book that I'm doing right now, and having a system in place to really bring my creative vision into physicality through a class like this has been super helpful. I love Skillshare classes because experts lead them and it's curated specifically for learning, so there's no ads. Each class you're going to learn a new skill. You're going to walk away with something new. There are class projects and discussions. There's reviews so you know what you're getting into. And it's really like a little learning community for each genre of learning. Because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 1,000 people to click the link below will get a free trial of their premium membership so you can get started in exploring your creativity. And I really recommend taking the class I mentioned. Now let's get into the video. Everything that you see in your waking and physical life first originated as an energetic possibility. An energetic possibility gets its power from your thoughts, from your emotions, and especially from your words. Every day we have an estimated 6,000 thoughts, and about 95% of those thoughts are exactly the same as the thoughts that you had the day before. And the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. When a thought is thought every day, day in and day out for years, It powers these energetic potentialities. Let me explain how this works as an example in real life. So let's say that there's a young girl who is super talented in art. She has been gifted in art from birth. So she has many energetic potentialities ahead of her. She could become an incredibly talented and famous artist. And then, also on the other side of that, on the other side of the spectrum, is she could end up a failure in art or in her life with her talents undiscovered and unnourished. All these energetic potentialities exist in the quantum realm. Let's say that her teacher at the time noticed that she wasn't so good at math, right? And instead of paying attention to her amazing skills as an artist and nourishing that, the teacher instead made a comment about how she'll get nowhere in life if she doesn't learn how to be good at math. If this child, which is what usually happens because children are like sponges, if this child chooses to absorb this comment, this teacher has now assisted her, unknowingly, of course, unconsciously, in choosing a lower vibrational energetic possibility. So if that sweet girl chooses to absorb that comment, she will think of herself as not good enough, as not worthy, and that might lead her to think of herself as unintelligent. So think about how often we as children call ourselves stupid unless somebody really told us that we're intelligent when we were younger. A lot of us may have looked at ourselves as dumb if we weren't bookworms, if we weren't well studied, if we didn't do that well in school. And having this belief and thinking it all the time will have you consistently choosing that timeline in which you are seen as not smart, as unintelligent. And so that little girl will unwittingly be choosing a timeline in which she potentially becomes a failure based on low self-esteem in school. In essence, anything that we constantly think about becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. As with each passing day, we continue to choose that reality through our thoughts and through the way that we talk to ourselves. It would take a really confident and brave child to, in that moment, be like, okay, maybe I can work harder and get better at math, but have you seen my art? I'm a great artist. So now that we're adults and we're more aware of our responsibility to ourselves and our lives, and we begin to have genuine agency over how our lives will turn out and what thoughts we give attention to, it's really time to change that monologue that runs throughout our minds. I made a video a couple of years ago about how the way I talk to myself has completely changed my life. I stand by that now, 2 years later, more than ever. Whatever continues to play throughout our mind ends up becoming what we see in our very reality. We are impressing our subconscious mind with these thoughts, and these thoughts will become physical with enough attention and energy. The great news is that we can change our lives and live in higher states of consciousness. The first thing that we have to do to change the tape that is playing through our mind is to become more conscious and aware of what tape we are playing. This is a fairly simple technique, but in practice, it does take a bit of effort. We have to become more aware and more mindful of our conversations in person with people, over the phone, texting somebody, or even what you're just saying to yourself internally in your mind. Even what you post on social media, what you tweet, what you post on Instagram, those are all stories that you're telling. Do you self-deprecate to make others feel more comfortable with your magnificence? Do you talk down about your own abilities, or do you call yourself mean names? Pay attention to what automatically comes out of your mouth. How do you talk about yourself? And what do you think about yourself? Do you find yourself judging yourself all day long in your mind, calling yourself stupid, beating yourself up? The world is hard enough out there for it to be so hard internally as well. Noticing how mean we tend to be to ourselves on a daily basis is really a rude awakening. It also requires a certain level of taking responsibility, realizing that while it's not your fault that you think this way, you are a victim of programming, we all are, but you are the only person who can change that. You are the hero of your own story. Only you can change your life. And that requires changing the way you speak to yourself. I really started this process when I was in my early 20s. I remember that I kept thinking negative things about my relationship at the time. So the way that I realized this is I was driving through the canyons on my way home from work, and I was making this one turn, and I had this negative thought about how my boyfriend was probably cheating on me right now. In that moment, I realized that the day before, I had that same thought during the same turn. And I probably had it the day before that as well. I realized I was creating my reality by tapping into these thought forms every single day. And these thoughts become the building blocks of our future. And so I started the process of isolating these thoughts by becoming aware of what I was thinking while I was in a trancey state of mind on my way home in the car and at all other times of the day, really, and replacing them with better feeling thoughts. So even when I was out of that relationship, I continued to do this with my thoughts about myself and about my life. Whenever I had a negative, demeaning thought about myself, I immediately changed it to a positive one. I continuously chose more empowering thoughts. I began to think of myself as kind and beautiful and successful and talented and worthy. And my life truly changed from there, you guys. I received more opportunities, doorways of opportunities opened to me. My relationships improved. I got better ideas. I got more support from friends and family. I loved myself on a deeper level. I think that was the most important thing, is that I started this process and this journey of self-love and seeing myself as this lovable, worthy human just for existing. I showered myself with love, and I made sure to send little Leeor, my inner child, a lot of love as well. I rewired my neural pathways with daily practice, and sooner than later, this kind of thinking became second nature to me. The more I practiced it intentionally, the more I noticed it was becoming automatic. So I want to give you some examples of some of the changes I made in the way that I talk about myself and my life. One of the most important things I changed is the very first thought I have when I get out of bed in the morning. For a large part of my life, the very first thought I had would be something along the lines of, ugh, another day. It's fine. I'll be back in bed by the afternoon. I'll be back in bed after school, after work. I'll be back in bed soon. That was a lot of depression, but I had to change that. The first thought of my day became, today is going to be an incredible day. I'm going to have so many opportunities today. I'm so grateful for today. And my days got better. I got more opportunities. I became happier. I used to think really badly about my face, having suffered from Bell's palsy twice in my life. I'd look in the mirror and I'd think, I would be so pretty if only I was a little bit more symmetrical. But since then, I've rewired that, and I now look in the mirror and I just think to myself, wow, I'm so cute. I'm really pretty. My pretty insides show on the outside, and that's really cool. It's also little things that you wouldn't expect that could improve your life. Like, I used to have this story that I was really bad with remembering people's names. So I would always tell everybody, I'm the worst with names. I can't remember anything. And that was kind of like an excuse for myself to actually be forgetting these people's names, right? But I intentionally worked on this in the past 2 years, and I started to change my story to, I always remember people's names. I'm great with names. I always remember names. And I've literally been surprising myself. I used to not be able to remember somebody's name after seeing them a handful of times and hearing their names like dozens of times. Now, if I hear somebody's name once, I'm usually able to remember it forever, which is really crazy. I met my really sweet old neighbors in Sedona a few weeks back. I met them a few months ago, and then when I saw them again a few weeks ago, I was able to remember their names after only having one conversation with them. So shout out to you, JB and David, sweethearts. So I'm really surprising myself with that. But yeah, I changed my belief about myself, and that actually changed the way that my brain works. Suddenly my brain worked in a way where I was able to remember things that beforehand I wasn't able to. That's insane. So changing my belief system changed the way that my brain works. And this happens with our biology. This happens with our physical body all the time. You can change your belief about how your body works, or how your health works, or how you look, and that will change the way that reality looks as well. Reality will rearrange itself. So I want you to start to listen to yourself and be mindful while you talk. Don't just speak to fill up dead air. Your words are magic. Treat them as sacred tools. Notice whenever you start saying something like, I can't, or I should, or I'm trying, because all of these things are certain spells that you're encoding this world with. And if possible, change it on the spot. If you're in a conversation with a friend or somebody that you trust, and you notice yourself starting to get into the autopilot mind of complaining and speaking negatively about yourself and your life, Let your friend know, I'm trying something new. I'm trying to speak differently about myself and more positively. Will you do that with me? Will you hold me accountable? And you'll see your friend is going to love that too, because it feels good to do these things. It doesn't feel good to wallow in our own misery all the time. So as a woman, one of the hardest times, and I'm sure many of you would agree with me, of speaking positively about yourself is while getting ready in a group with other women. I don't know what it is about the culture that we all just bring ourselves down constantly while we're getting ready. I remember it would be depressing. Like by the time my hair, makeup, and outfit was done, I wouldn't want to go out because we've all complained about our bodies and our hair is not good and our makeup doesn't look good and this, and I don't like my outfit. And we would just it's such a low vibrational thing to do. But over the last decade, I've completely eradicated this from my life and from my friend group. So anybody who's with me, when we get ready, we know that it's only compliments. It's only speaking well about ourselves. It's only uplifting ourselves. And I don't take any of that crap. I don't want any of that around me. I don't want to hear you complaining about yourself. I want to hear you knowing that you're that girl, that you're that person, that you feel amazing, that you look great. It doesn't make you more lovable to demean yourself and to bring yourself down. It's also not a good way to ask for compliments. You compliment yourself, okay? Some people might be uncomfortable with it, but you'll change them for the better as well in time. So there's a book that I began reading about this topic recently just to reinforce, and it's really everything that I believe in. It's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And this book says to identify your I can't statements, and then to go on to identify your I need to or I should statements. Things like I can't get my work done or I need to get my work done. I need to means that you're not doing it and that's not going to happen. We change that to something like I no longer procrastinate about getting my work done. And eventually you become a person who says, I am a diligent and effective worker. I always get my work done really fast and easily. So I want you to begin to do this right now, literally today. Start to be more aware of what you're about to comment on this video. Speak about yourself kindly. Or what thoughts are going through your mind right now as you see this video? Are you thinking to yourself, as you're listening, are you thinking to yourself, oh, easier said than done? Or are you thinking, oh, I can do this. I can totally do this. I'm going to change my life with this. It starts here. It starts in the next text that you send or the next thing you say about yourself or other people or your life to the next person you speak to. It starts with your next tweet. So let me know how this goes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you. Thank you for being with me. I know I'm a little bit lower energy today. I'm on my moon, but I did want to get this video made for you guys. So yeah, I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me. And as always, keep your vibrations way, way, way up. Bye.